Twitch integrations, right? Because we've all seen, right, there are some games that go really big on having, like, letting chat decide, right? The Basically, I think there's like two styles of this, right? The first one is there's like soft integration. Think XCOM here. Right, you get a name characters after people in chat, and then chat's drama is your drama, and we just like maul. They get mauled, someone comes out on top, or everyone dies, and everyone gets a good time out of that. And then there's like hard integration, which is actual code to let chat participate. Oh boy, we are getting more people giving him more things. And again, chat, right? If you guys do see things that don't ring quite true for you here, make sure you tell me, because this is kind of the point. Now, we, what is it? Dead Cells has it. Dead Cells streamer mode, etc. Generally speaking, this tends to be referring to, like, oh yeah, change the physics. Spawn items slash enemies slash stuff. Insta-kill. One could also look at, say, the link to the past. Randomizer. Speedrun. I think that was at, like, SGDQ. Whatever, it was at a GDQ. Right, something like this. And thank you everyone who is donating once again to the secret voice acting challenge. We are only a couple weeks away from that, so we're gonna see how close to that we can get. I mean, we're at, like, what, 200,000 out of 500,000? I believe in y'all. Anyway. So, basically, my question is, how does this work with history? Right? Can't we make Twitch integrations that improve the historical representation of a game? Kind of my guiding question here. I don't actually know the answer to this one yet. Chat, what are your thoughts? Maybe? It's definitely a maybe. Right, yes, potentials, challenges. In the abstract. In the abstract. We don't have to stick to an existing game for this one. Right, very theoretical, very much. Right, if we were to make a game that wants to have Twitch integrations and be historical, is that a thing? Scenario. The historical strategy game. Tortoise. Miracles. Climatic events. Yeah. I like that one. AC? AC, I freaking love this idea. This sounds excellent. Cause, right, to do this we need to explain a little bit about, like, medieval understandings of the airspace. Cause, according to late medieval demonology, demons definitely existed, and they were definitely a problem. But, they're immaterial, is I believe the technical distinction. Right, like angels, demons are immaterial. And so, they can move invisibly through the air to enact all sorts of mischief, yoink things away from people, pretend to be people, all that jazz. And it's through the use of magic that you're able to render demons visible, and then from there, controllable. Angels are exactly the same way, but instead of running around trying to cause harm to humanity, they're trying to protect humanity. And so, right, the 15th century is really convinced that there is this kind of perpetual ongoing battle between invisible angelic forces and invisible demonic forces. Right, so they're not physically present, they can exist in infinitesimally small places. But they are also very much present, right? They're not made out of atoms or matter or any of that. So they're real but invisible. Demonological thought. Right, so basically chat can have a war using channel points, votes, polls, whatever, between boons and banes to the player existing in some sort of space, and that'll make stuff happen to them. And it can be a thing that the game manages, like every 10 minutes, it rolls up a potential thing that it will spawn in, and chat gets to fight over it. Right, okay. Let me actually, I guess, understand what this actually is here, Stefan, because you did mention you're not super sure what I mean by that. Let's pull up a video here, or Twitch integrations. Do. So, see, most of the interactions involve voting on a situation. Game says time to upgrade that weapon, strength, speed, crits. Everyone in chat votes on what they want. Sections where chat gets directly influence the game, such as Tetris-like room, where the player can pick a location to drop a block. Depending on what the chat types, streamer will be able to easily ascend a staircase or be crushed to death by blocks the chat dropped. This one has a separate app. Gain currency, spend it on monsters, loot, variety of things, and allows actions through Twitch chat. And one troll army here. Right, tower defense game, the streamer is a troll. Everyone in the chat is AI characters who are controlled through chat commands. Move here, attack the town. Something like that. Right, Dead Cells has one. You can vote on various stuff, open special chests, all that stuff. Domina just pulls random. All the gladiators are chat people. And if a gladiator surrenders, the chat has the power to vote on it. So, you know, this is probably the clearest one, right? This is... Let's grab both of these into the document. Historical games with integrations. We might have to pick up one of these just to play in some downtime. Right. We might have to try picking up one of these just to explore how this works. So, there are a couple of games already that look like they actually have them, right? A medievalist game. Domina being Roman. Let's see, the strategy, empire building kind of game, chat could designate origin and destination points for, like, trade convoys. Potentially. Potentially. I'm not sure how this necessarily works. Basically, right, the problem with this I see is how does this actually work with chat commands? It's a good idea. It's just, right, chat commands are like exclamation mark something. Right? Exclamation mark something that the game or in some cases single words that the chat picks up on. So, or that the game picks up on. So how does that, what's the code look like to actually let chat decide on these in meaningful ways? But I want to spin off on that slightly. Right, what if we're taking, like, Domina's model in a paradox style game? What about where chat plays as the fellow nobles, or like the player as a king? And call on their vassals. Chat. Say medieval HRE. There's the player. And chat are the other princes. Right, this would have to be carefully done, right? Challenges. Coding is hard. Obviously. Right? Coding is really hard. Commands have to be simple, but meaningful. I've done exactly enough coding to know that coding is really bloody hard. The thing I love about this one, by the way, Potentials. The big upside of this. 1. Adds true randomness. So, this is important, and then also, can reflect beliefs in material forces, I guess? Not... I don't want to say, like, superstition, but, right, pre-modern mentalities given coaching. Right? So, I want to elaborate on this with the, like, demons, angels idea. Basically, right, it may say, right, oh, demons are now trying... So, right, an event pops up in chat of... Demons want to... Demons are possessing the local farm stock. And then chat gets to vote yes, no. If it succeeds, farm stock will aggro on the player. Right. There's no... I don't think there's a way to let an individual in chat control that, but... Right, the demons now have possessed the local cows, and the cows are now violent. And are just going to indiscriminately attack everything. Poof. And you can make a lot of these events, right? These events are really easy to do. Right? And you can just freely rate stories to fit your setting. Right? You can just... This is just flavor text. This is all writing, which is not technically difficult, though it's not easy either. It's extra labor, and it takes skill to do, but it's... You can take these all from historical material, and since it's all just text, it's given a meta game framework that is historically that fits the history of the setting, or that fits the historical inspirations of the game, and then all the events that spawn from that can also be derived from the history the game is drawing on, and so you end up creating this like really cool kind of, I guess, this really cool kind of sense that the world is not in your control, right? The world doesn't actually exist for the player, but rather there are agents in the world that you can only respond to. That you can pray, and you can try and do things, you can beg chat to have mercy on you, and is that really that different? Oh, Dildrum, you gotta head out, have a good night. But right, is that... If there's history events, can we have at least one plague? Yeah, Diamond Husky, right? I'm gonna put... Right, I wanna get this one bolded too, because this is another really great one. Right, it depends on the game. But right, sure, yeah, demons have possessed us, right? Demons wish to inflict dancing plagues upon everyone. Okay, suddenly all the NPCs are just gonna start doing a silly dance for the next 5 minutes. and you can't interact with them, you can't do anything about it. They're just going to be stuck dancing for a while. Honestly, would be hilarious. Big fan. Love it. But, right, is a streamer begging chat to have mercy? It's clearly not the same as offering prayers to a saint in order to get them to intercede with God on your behalf to prevent the bad thing. But given that there is no way to enact a mentality through gameplay that makes the player go, actually believe in that? Right, the vast majority of people, if we're accepting that we're in a predominantly atheistic secular society, there is something to be said about creating a similar mentality through these integrations that then informs an idea of, oh yeah, sometimes all you can do is just beg. You can just beg someone to prevent the bad thing, and it is not in your control whether they do it or not. Wolfie, if you've got time and energy and like have the skills to do that, I mean, I won't say no. This is actually for a workshop in a couple weeks, where we're talking about like coding historical games. So maybe hold off on that. We'll see what conversations come out of there, and then we can look at doing this. So hold on for a couple weeks. I'll get back to you. But yeah, Raptorus, I mean, that is basically what I was thinking about with like the Paradox one, right? Instead of though being like a divine voice to an NPC, or are you thinking about? Oh, sweet. You're in James's workshop too? Phenomenal. I will see you there then. Magnificent. I have unfortunately spoiled our roundtable. So. But yeah, right, alter NPC AI, potentially? Right, in a Paradox one, right, a Paradox-style strategy game, if the goal is to, say, you know, get yourself elected. Oh, stop it. Stop. There we go. Right, if the goal here is to say, get elected emperor, and then individuals in chat are trying to do this, and it's like a super condensed, simplified version of a Paradox game that lasts maybe 20 years, and the goal is within those 20 years to get yourself elected emperor by whatever means necessary. And chat gets to pick how different principalities are gonna start working towards that goal, and it's true randomness. But chat doesn't get to dictate how, right, doesn't really get to micromanage the AI. Chat just gets to set overarching goals. Incredible. A Wu Zetian strategy game? Yeah. Yeah, honestly. Right, any sort of court intrigue simulator? Really, any. like, any court intrigue sim could do that. Specific integration, have to be really carefully researched. Right? I mean, ultimately, this is the big thing. Right? All possible integrations must be socially and historically plausible for the setting. Cossack, we have gotten I have given you all a free design diatribe where we are discussing the potentials of Twitch integrations in historical games, because it's something I've been thinking about a lot, and I wanted to work through it with y'all. We're gonna get into Indiana Jones real soon. I think we're close to exhausting this topic, but we got a nice half hour of just talking through this. Because, right, the if it's not, it evolves into memes. Please detract from instead of enhancing the historical aspects of the game. Which can be fun. Right? Not inherently bad, but not what we wanted. Oh, it will almost certainly devolve into memes regardless. The question is, are the memes historically plausible or not? Right? Which channel on the Discord server do they go into? As long as they're landing squarely in the historical memes channel, I'm okay with it. But I think it's an interesting idea, right? I don't know if what's actually going to happen here. I don't know. I don't actually know if it would be plausible to do. There's definitely be a thing that would need some proof of concepts to really experiment with. But it's an interesting thing to think about, right, chat? Because it seems to me like there's a lot of potential here. And right, these upsides. These upsides are a thing that games really struggle with, right? One of the big critiques I have of Paradox games or Civilization as a history simulation is that the AI is super exploitable because AI is hard, and once you know what people like and don't like, you can just kind of push those buttons until you win. If chat is dictating the AI priorities, those numbers are changing in ways that cannot be predicted. And in a more realist simulation, rather than a highly conceptual, abstracted one, you can really explore some interesting mentalities here by forcing the player into a space where they aren't in control of what's happening, where stuff will just happen to them, and you just gotta deal with it. And you can, right, in a medievalist setting, you code that really cleanly onto 15th century, like, demonology. Cool. Amazing. Love it. I also super love this environmental one, right? In basically any simulation, well, what happens if you're getting on a boat and then a storm springs up? How do you react to that? What's the actual threat here? Or, yeah, you're doing a city builder, and chat spawns in a plague. Great, you now have an endemic plague that's gonna destroy your, that's gonna, like, attack you every 10 years, and there's nothing you can do about it. What do you do? How do you move on through that? Right, when you aren't in control of the world space, and the environment, and, you know, human caused, in this case Twitch chat caused, I'm sorry chat, you don't count as people within a game. I'm so sorry. But right, Twitch chat caused events really kind of imply a world with a lot of social agency that is impacting the player's observable experience without giving the player a total... Right, the player just has to kind of respond to that. And that really correlates quite nicely to ideas of, hey, the world is super interconnected, right? We have a hemispheric network prior to the 15th century that people don't always have agency in, and things will just happen to them, and they have to work within their world, however big or small that is, in order to try and thrive through it. Yeah, I mean, right. Oh yeah, right, explaining challenges. Explaining the history to Twitch chat. Oh. I'm sorry. Y'all are lovely. I know y'all... Oh, this particular Twitch chat would buy into this simulation, this idea, 130% of the time. I don't think XQC's Twitch chat would buy into this any percent of the time. And so you gotta find a way to, right, get people to do this. Rose, super interesting question, right? You need to be careful with Twitch chat's inherent desire for chaos. Chat, what do you think? Is this a bad thing? Right? I mean, in this particular circumstance, I think that's a good thing. I think Twitch chat's desire for chaos, if Twitch chat are the demons who are trying to screw over the world, maximum chaos is the desired end state. Right, so how do you limit it, right? How to limit chaos. Don't give chat unlimited options. It's aren't perpetual. And people don't get to suggest events. They're just voting. Right? Give chat a communal goal. Right, so, right, it kind of depends on what the point is, right? Because there's definitely Twitch integrations where basically it's just, you know, oh yeah, we're just inverting gravity. we're just murdering you now. We've just stolen all your money. We've just done XYZ things. Right? So there are those kinds of integrations that can kind of be done whenever with either sufficient donations, channel points, or enough people voting for it. But a lot of these things, right, you guys are suggesting like cooldowns or stuff, right? So, here's the thing. You guys seem to be thinking, right, there's like a menu of commands. Right? In an environmental one, social chat, I'd suggest that events are randomly rolled. And all that chat does is decide whether or not they happen. If chat votes no, cooldown until next event is reduced, so that they get another shot. Yeah, right. Mostly polls. Right. You definitely can do it. If we're using commands, link it to a resource. So they have to watch, participate, etc. in order to use it. Don't make this channel points. That privileges longtime viewers. Right? So if we click back over here... Where is it? Like this one, right? Once you add in the Twitch chat connection, things get ridiculously fun. There's a separate app, Legend of Dungeon Masters, that lets viewers gain currency and spend it on spawning monsters, loot, or a variety of other things, and it also allows actions through the Twitch chat connection. Right? So, this one has that same idea of, hey, you know, this is a problem. We're gonna have a separate app that viewers during the stream will gain a currency that they will spend. They can spend it on whatever, but you're tied to the amount of currency you've used. It is a step, right? That is a step that is notable. But, right, just linking it to channel points means that Leander, with his 300,000 channel points, actually I don't think anyone has that many. I think the highest is currently like before the extra incentives was like 170,000. But right, 170,000 channel points is still an absurd number of channel points. They can do whatever they want. And you could just spam events with that many channel points. So, you know. It does incentivize viewing more, right? It's not an inherently bad thing. It's just, how exactly do you want to navigate accessibility, right? How do you want to navigate accessibility, encouraging new people to interact without getting just bullied by the people with lots of channel points already, all that jazz, right? Inviting people in instead of having your regulars just dominate the discussion. But yeah, right, potentially scale the severity based on chat unanimity. Right. So, all of these things would be ways that we kind of, can help maybe limit the chaos. And so a lot of it seems to depend on, right, as always, as with most things, I think the conclusion to draw here is, actually more potential than I thought. But it needs to be part of a strong design. And designed carefully around the goals of the game. As with all things, exactly, right? It can't just be a gimmick. Makes sense. It's kind of an obvious conclusion, but some of these games sound really fun. Right, as the streamer, as the person who would be victimized by chat bullying me, some of these ideas sound incredibly fun. And that's a good sign. I think that's good news. Right? Speaking as a developer, making those games sounds really fun. Amazing. The dream. Chat. Does a Twitch integrated history game sound fun? Hello! These sound like they're at least worth exploring? Jesse the Ant, welcome! Good to see you. We've been spending the last hour, instead of playing Indiana Jones like the thing says, we've been talking about Twitch integrations, and whether or not we can make a historical game that actually, like, works within a historical setting, and ends up being really cool. So, right, note, we are going to end up playing Domina on stream at some point, at least for a little while, just to see what they're doing. Yes, what's Twitch integration? And chaos. Love it. It could be like a random, like, mini D&D thing, but, right, the idea of, like, a Twitch integration is that it lets chat either command entities within the game, dictating their priorities, AI, whatever, or vote on events that'll happen during the game. Right? So, no matter what style of game you're playing, some way of letting Twitch chat affect what's going on in the game while I am playing it. So you guys aren't just watching, you guys are actively helping create the history or historical space represented in the game. But right, yeah, a little D&D-like thing sounds extremely awesome, right? A historical roguelike, right? A pilgrimage roguelike with chat integration as like a little D&D-esque thing. Mwah. So many good choices there. Have I ever played Worldbox? I have not. I'll make sure to take a look. I'll take a look at that. Chat says, 75% of chat says yes. Oregon Trail with chat integration. Yes, Wolfie. Medieval Oregon Trail with Twitch chat integration. Honestly, could be incredible. But yeah, I will make a note of this here. Thank you. Awesome. Love it. Looks great. Looks great. Love it dearly. I said no way to ease the plague, now send the vessel's help. I choose to send St. Vetus's dance. Yeah. I don't know, well, obviously it would take some iteration, Magistress, to figure out how exactly that works. Let me pull your comment in here, just so it's in the document so we can think about it. Ba-ba-da-ba-da. Thank you. Perfect. Take some iteration. Experiments. Lots of options. Now, I think on that note, right, we've been going for an hour already, we haven't touched the game. On that note, I'm gonna leave you on this music for a bit here while I go get some more water. And then we're actually gonna play Last Crusade. Alright? So I'll be back in like a minute or two. Don't go anywhere, chat. But, I will say, I will be splitting that chat section of the video out and uploading it to YouTube separately to be thought about. Continue the conversation there. So, YouTube VOD, if you like this, do consider subscribing on YouTube and giving a follow on Twitch so that you can participate in these kinds of fun design discussions. Because I do love talking about like historical game design, even though I am not a programmer or a game designer myself. Thinking through on the historical side, what are some of the potentials of the technologies we have in order to make better, more nuanced history games is one of my things. So if you want to participate in those, try coming over to Twitch. It's fun. I highly recommend it.